There is a class of terms, let's call them terms of ethnic deprecation. And these terms have always perplexed me. Had I grown up in an ethnically homogeneous community, I might have grown up using them. But I grew up in an integrated community where ethnic diversity was honored. So I grew up blessedly ignorant. For example, when I'd get home from school, my father would ask, "How'd your day go, Dago?" And it was years before I realized what he was saying and that term he was using, Dago, he was using it the way we hear black people use the N-word with each other, affectionately. When I started writing this, I thought of doing something like Lenny Bruce did in his act. Some of you know. He would reel off a string of these terms in an auctioneer's patter. But I don't feel comfortable saying them, and I can't think of anyone here who would feel comfortable hearing them. So I'm going to try rhyming homophones. Uh-oh. The eminent black author Richard Wright, in his novel Native Son, named his doomed protagonist Bigger Thomas. For purposes of this reflection, I'm going to borrow the name Bigger and substitute it for its objectionable homophone. Now, one of the people I grew up with was Suzanne Lynn, the daughter of a noted civil rights attorney. And when two of our friends in the school bus started trading insults, and Greg called Steve the blackest bigger I have ever seen, Suzanne wasn't having it. She got right in his face with, "Where's your self-respect?" And there's that word, respect, which is at the heart of what this reflection is about. You see, I am no longer perplexed because I now have a definition for this term, bigger. It means a person you don't have to respect. And there are a variety of terms which mean the same thing. Why, in World War II, our enemies were trouts and snaps, and the Nazis set about eradicating a people they called bikes. Our forebears took the same approach with people they called bedspins. There's a pro football team using that term as their name, and the owner still insists on maintaining that disrespect. Well, for me, that's been the easiest part of this talk, because for much of my life, I've been comfortable referring to some people as trackers and sailor hash or picks. After all, I say to myself, those people feel free to disrespect my friends with their language. On the school bus, one of the kids from the trailer park called Susanna bigger. It's just paying back in kind. But as the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. preached, that old law about an eye for an eye leaves everyone blind. The time is always right to do the right thing. Now, for much of the 1970s, it was my very good fortune to play in a band with Stephen Swan. I am forever grateful for the chances to play the music he brought. One time on the road, after things had been pretty ugly for him, I asked him, "How do you cope with all these racists?" What he answered was, "I just figure it's their loss."